public record information, you know? Let me just say, okay. Want to make sure I'm not like keeping people out of the meeting. All right, cool. All right. All right, looks like we might have just a little bit of a smaller class today, which I'm down with. That just means we get to have a little more one-on-one and we can kind of dig deep in some of this stuff. So, all right, you guys ready to rock and roll? Oh, it looks like there's some more people coming in now. All right, cool. All right, well, welcome everybody. So I am guest hosting D-Rad's role play call. Some of you guys may have seen me on here before. Just, a little bit about me. Been in real estate for 9 years, have taken push 3 times, prospecting push twice, and then push 2.0 one time. And kind of a student of scripts and dialogues, but I'm by no means an expert, so I'm learning along here with you guys. So I always enjoy the opportunity to jump on these calls, not only just as a student, but every once in a while I get to host them, and I think that's pretty fun. So, um, anybody have any objections or anything they're struggling with? Maybe a situation right now they'd love to kind of just get the opinion of the crowd before we jump into some role play. The way I have kind of today structured is we're going to set up some scenarios. We're going to go through some of those objections, and then I'd love to just kind of come up with 2 or 3 ways that we can overcome them. And then even if we're repeating things, but does anybody have anything before we kind of get into it, a scenario that maybe they could use a hand with before we jump into scripts?
How about the whole commission thing? Like how do you talk about commissions when they're decoupled now?
Okay.
So
All right.
like so
Yeah.
like say, oh, okay. Yeah, so you want me to be the caller or
Well, just tell me a little bit about what you mean when you say that.
well, because like I was talking to the one who leads my team in my real estate at the brokerage, and he says he's still asking for 6%. Um, so then I was like, but aren't we not supposed to be doing that? So, and I know you guys are as well, right? You guys still asking 6%.
Well, so the one thing I'll say is everybody sets their own price. Like you set your own your own value on what you see fit. The way I understand it, well, first of all, let me say I'm not a broker. So if you have any technical questions, legal questions, anything like that, how your office is doing it, I can't speak for how your office is choosing to do it, and I can't really give you broker, advice. When it comes to that, is it, we'll role play some scripts around that, but ultimately, yeah, I mean, you can still ask for 6% and pay out, what you feel fit to a buyer's agent. Just because we're decoupling commissions doesn't mean that you can't offer out a buyer's agent. Let me ask you this, Al. I mean, do you think um, if you were to offer out a buyer's agency commission, do you think that that would help or hurt your seller getting more money?
Oh, of course it would help.
Right. So I think
But
that's just the way you got to think about it. And then you got to figure out, okay, if I believe that, how can I put that into words to show value of doing that? Right.
right.
So again, I'm not a broker. I don't, definitely, if you're however is going on in everyone's individual offices and businesses is up to them. But um so decoupling commissions is something. Anybody else got something there they'd like to role play around or something that they're interested in or having struggles with? Maybe struggles isn't the right word. Maybe feels like they can get better.
Um, I'm not struggling, but the way that you handle the objection all the time, Pete, you are awesome doing that. And I
Thank you.
would like to know if you can share the objection that you are reading. constantly in order to get better every single day. I don't know if that's possible.
Yeah, so like what I'm focusing on every like to get better every day, like what?
Yeah. Basically, what is your routine? What objection you receive the most, and the way that you handle, you are awesome, as I told you before.
Thank
But
you.
if you can share them with the group, that'd be awesome. I would like to get it.
Okay. So just some best practices and stuff, things that helped me along the way get better with scripts and dialogues.
Yeah, because I mean, when I know a lot of agents hate the scripts, but when you internalize them, I mean, we are gonna talk like you.
Well, you should talk like you. But
No,
I get what you,
I
I know
mean,
what you mean.
when you have the confidence, when you know the script and you know handle the objection, you have probably 60 or 70 or even 80% of the success in the phone call,
Correct. Yeah, no, you're right. You're absolutely
Doing
right.
doing the right question. I mean, I we are in my group, in my coaching group, we are reading exactly what to say. We have the magic words. I had the list and I try to create questions every single day
Hmm.
and have ready to handle any objection. But if we have objections that are well structured, we can handle better the objection when we had a phone call either with expires or for sale by owners.
Gotcha. All right, cool. Well, so then why don't we jump into one just to kind of get some juices flowing, and then we can dig into some more of that. Now, I guess to that point, Alberto, does everybody have their scripts in front of them? Because that's the first thing. Just if we're going to be making calls, we're going to be, even when we're role playing and we're practicing, we should always have our scripts in front of us. And I'm doing a garage sale, so my house is cleaning out, so it's everywhere. So I actually don't have them in front of me, but we're gonna roll through this. So that's definitely the first thing. So all right, so here's the scenario. You met with the agent. I'm sorry, you met with the seller. You understand why they want to move. They are downsizing because they're empty nesters and they want to sell their house and move to Florida. They already have a house in Florida. They're going to live there in the condo for a while until they eventually buy something bigger. You've gone through the entire listing presentation. You guys are in rapport. Things are going well. It's now time to close the deal. So you're sitting across from them at the kitchen table, and you say, "Okay, well, listen, we're ready to get to work together. Are you ready to get started?" And they say to you, "Well, listen, whoever wants to take this one, listen, I like what you're saying, but we've got a few more agents to meet with. So I don't want to make any decisions just yet. Who wants to take this?"
In certain way, Mr. Seller, there is something that I wasn't very clear. And tell me more about it. What part you didn't get? Because if you like my presentation, if you know what I'm doing, if you know that I a professional doing this business, what is holding you to sign up the contract right now or the agreement?
Well, like I said, we just really want to meet with, we've got two more agents scheduled. So we just want to meet with everybody. So that way, we kind of do our due diligence.
So you are telling me that you are interviewing other agents because they are gonna tell you they are gonna get more money. I present what is the current condition in the market right now, and with the maximum amount the buyer is willing to pay for your property. 80% of the success or 80% of the marketing is the price.
Right. Well, yeah, and that's why, we just want to see what they have to say and what others are kind of offering and what maybe they say about our home.
Uh, to start with, Mr. Seller, you don't owe me any money. Just put me to work. I'm gonna work for free. If you are unhappy with the offer that I bring you in the next 30 days, you can go ahead and talk to other agents. Let's start working because you want to go to Florida, right? How long
Right.
how long would you like to be there?
Perfect. All right, cool. That's good. So that's where I think that's really where you started to get into something good there. So when you started emphasizing on the timeline, right?
Yeah.
And kind of creating that urgency and creating that like no risk trial, right? You're saying, listen, we're here right now. Let's get to work, and those other agents can sell your house for you too once we get it on the market. I think if you can dig a little deeper on like, hey, tell me again, what does it look like if you don't get to Florida in 30 days like we talked about, right? So who else wants to give that a shot? Or any feedback for Alberto? All right, we got a hand raised. Curtis, what's up, man?
Hey, how you doing? How you doing, Pete?
I'm good,
Morning.
man. Nice to
Great.
see you, man. So, all
Yeah,
right,
thanks.
so we got, again, same scenario. Sellers moving to Florida. They want to move within, they're not super eager, but they're eager. And you're at the closing table. Listen, Curtis, it sounds good what you're saying. We've just got a few more agents to work with that we want to meet with rather. So we don't really want to make a decision just yet.
Yeah, of course, Pete. No, and no, I understand that you want to interview a couple of other agents. And Pete, what exactly were you looking for in terms of the selection process for the agent that you choose?
Well, we just want we really kind of just want to see what our options are. We want to kind of see what everyone's price is and terms, and then we're kind of probably just going to go with the one we feel the best about.
Okay. Now, was there anything specific that you were looking for in terms of the price and terms?
Well, I mean, we'd really love to get 600. I mean, I see you're kind of suggesting we go at 575, but if we can get over
Right.
six, I mean, we'd really like to do that.
Right, okay. And Pete, so why don't we do this? Why don't we set it up, and we could set it up somewhere around what you're looking for, right? The price that you want to go with, absolutely. And why don't we set it up? We'll just move forward and then we can see. I'm stuck.
That's
I'm
all right.
stuck, Pete. I'm stuck.
Who wants to
All right,
help
Pete.
Curtis out?
Yeah.
What was that?
Where did you get stuck, Curtis?
So I asked him what he was looking for in terms of the selection process of the agent. So the response was he's just looking for price and terms. And then I asked him what exactly about price and terms was it that was important to you? And he said he just wanted to see what the other agents had. And then I went for the close. And I wasn't
Yeah.
sure exactly how to put that bundle that information up into a closing statement.
Okay. Pete, is that the only thing holding you back? You need to check those other options with the other agents?
Yeah, Jerome. I mean, I think so. I think, like I said, I mean, we like you. We definitely, see that you work hard for your clients. It's just we want to kind of just see what other options are out there for us.
Okay. Normally when people are saying that, Pete, they're not sure and the person that's in front of them. So was there something that I may have communicated that makes you unsure that I can help you get this property sold, get the price you want?
No, no, I don't think so.
Okay. And what are you expecting from those other agents? It just price that you're looking for?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's just a
Price and
matter of like
terms?
kind of getting an idea just to make sure that we're not, we just want to make sure that everybody's kind of on the same page with price.
Okay. I can assure you, based on the presentation that I've given you, that we're going to get you the best price, Pete. And I'm not trying to tell you you don't have. I'm not encouraging you not to interview those agents, but I'm telling you, I give you the best information here, and I'm going to help you get that best price. Uh, let's get this paperwork started. Let's get it signed. You can still interview those other agents, but let's get this started so I can get to work for you right away. How does that sound, Pete?
Okay, yeah, and if we decide one of those other agents we want to go with them, we could still go with them.
Absolutely. That
Okay,
work for you?
that works for me.
Okay.
All right, there you go. Where's Matt? I saw you, Matt. You had your hand raised.
Yeah, I didn't know. I stepped away. I was making coffee, but I didn't know if he asked what were you looking for in an agent, and if someone's going to posture off of basically price shopping, um, I would have targeted more about quality, right, and seem more in and just always right, seem more interested than interesting, right? So okay, so what is that? What exactly does that mean for you when you're looking for certain qualities in agents, right? Because part of the deal is getting the numbers, and the other part is having a good working relationship with the other person. So what exactly do you want? And I try to stay away from the price
Right.
and commission stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a great point. And I think one thing that we got to remember, there's two things. There's one, this is a one-liner that I really love to use. So this is maybe something you might want to write down. Um, is there anything that, is there any reason that we wouldn't work together? Some sort of variation of that. Like, okay, listen, I totally understand you want to meet with other agents. Let me just ask, I mean, is there any reason that we wouldn't work together? And it's usually people are usually polite and they'll say, no, everything sounds good. Okay, great. So, and then you can kind of dig in a little bit deeper on that. I think when you kind of throw the objections of like, oh, well, we just wanted to see like what their prices are. I would bring them right back to the comparable properties that you presented to them, right? Because we can talk about we could talk about price and as D-Rad talks about Fantasyland, and we can go into about buying a listing, but at the end of the day we have to get agreement on price, like based on data. Like the numbers are what the numbers are, right? We know that with the right presentation, of course we're going to make sure that we get every penny, with the exception of sometimes somebody comes in and blows it out of the water, right? Their grandmother lives next door, some like unforeseen like weird thing. But generally speaking, with any sort of like being able to predict the market, all we can do is look at the numbers. So I would first bring them to numbers and say, okay, well, just so I'm clear, based on the numbers that we went over and all the comps, you would agree that our price is in the range, right? Okay, perfect. So then let's just talk about how we're going to get you that number and what the strategy is. Because Mr. and Mrs. Seller, at the end of the day, it's up to you to decide how you're going to market your home or how you're going to price your home. I'm just here to give you information to see where it makes sense and then ultimately decide whether or not I'm going to take your listing. At this price, this seems like this makes the most sense, blah, blah, blah. And then, so we're good on numbers, right? We agree that the comparison. Okay, great. So aside from price, now that we've got that out of the way, is there anything else that would keep you from listing your home with me today? Then now you're getting rid of the smoke screens, because they're gonna throw up smoke screens at you, but if they're not ready to go, there's a reason. And our job is to try to find out what that is. And the only way we can get to what that truly is if we eliminate all the other things. Does that make sense? Right? So if they're going to throw up price as an objection, but we can get them to agree based on numbers and facts and data, we've removed that objection and now we can focus, okay, is there anything other than that that would keep you from listing with me today? And then isolate and overcome the next objection. Ashley Davidson, good morning.
Hey Pete, I had one thing to add to that for pricing with value. Bring a pricing pyramid with you. It's like, the percentage of potential buyers based off of the impact of visibility on with price. They're guarantee there's going to be agents that don't even know about it or know how to explain that. And if you come with that as a sheet and say, look, if you're still stuck on price, I can say your home could be valued at 600, but that's not where we need to start to get you that. And then bring that sheet and show that if we go 10% under, we're getting 75% of people looking at this property. Isn't it most important to have more eyes on your property so you can then get your higher price? So just another value add.
Yeah, 100%. Is everyone familiar with the pricing triangle or pricing pyramid?
Yes.
Perfect. All right. If you guys don't have that, you can DM me. I'm the Real Estate Pete on Instagram. And I'll just shoot that over, shoot me a text or a DM, and I'll get you that pricing triangle if you guys want a copy of that. So
Also, Danny Grims has a nice page with the three outcomes, with three fishermen. I don't know if you have seen that.
No, I don't think so. Three fishermen?
Yeah, three fishermen. The three outcomes in the real estate. This is pretty awesome because it's at this level you are gonna there is no fish, there is no offers, there is no offer, there is no showings. At this one, you can get probably a few of a few showings, but no offers yet. At this level, going deeper, that means a reduced price is where the more fishes you are going to be attracted and you are going to get the right buyer for your property.
I love that. And let me ask everybody, I'm curious, like as he was explaining that, could you visually see fish in water in a pond? And that's our job, right? Our job is how can we paint this picture for them? We want to paint pictures. I think that's great, Alberto. Thank you for sharing that because that just gave me like a great, I think that's so fun. You can make it fun. You can actually like, everybody can understand fish in a pond, right? So D-Rad often talks about like for sale by owners, like as like a garage sale, putting a brand new iPhone. But I think the fish thing is a great way to do
I don't
that.
know if I can upload it. I'm gonna look for the file and I put it on the chat and you can download it later on.
Awesome. That'd be great. Thank you so
Let me
much.
try. Let me try.
All right, cool. So we're gonna go to another scenario. I mean, it's pretty much that. Let's just stick with the same scenario. So we're all. I know some more people have jumped on, so I'll just kind of rerun the scenario. We have someone who's moved. You know, they're empty nesters. They want to sell their home and they're moving to Florida. They have a condo already in Florida, so they're ready to go. They're ready to go. Empty nesters, no longer living in the house. Now, again, you're sitting at the closing table. You're ready to close. They're on board with everything. You're in rapport. You're on point on price. Next objection. Awesome. Well, listen, whoever wants to take this, I appreciate everything you're saying. Price makes sense. I'm just not sure I want to pay a full commission because I'm hearing that there's other agents who will charge less. So I'm just not sure I want to pay that full commission. Go for it, Ashley.
All right, Pete, I understand how you're feeling. I feel that, sellers have the same feelings you do. I've seen that before. Now let me ask you really quick. Is it more important about the commission or what you net at the end of the day?
Well, we want to, yeah, we want to net money.
Okay, great. So with that, do you also know that with the new changes, I know you obviously are hearing about not paying out. With that, do you know that buyer agents have to sign an agreement before bringing buyers to properties now?
What do you mean? Like they have to have paperwork signed before they just like go to see a house?
Yes, so that actually creates some more vetted buyers for you. But with that, here in the agreement, it's, there's one part on here that states that a buyer sometimes won't even see a property if they're not offering compensation to their agent. So you may lose a pool of buyers right at the bat. Now, what I want for you to have is as many eyes on your property as possible, right? If you have more eyes on your property, what do you think that's going to do for you?
Well, I mean, I guess have more people see it. So, have more people come in.
Right. And if you have more people come in, what do you think is going to happen after that?
Hopefully we get more offers.
Right. And that's exactly what I want to do for you. Now, my goal is to make sure you walk away with at least what you need to make that next step and get to Florida. The worst thing I want to see is you stuck here for another winter, right?
Yeah, I definitely don't want to. Yeah, no, I mean, and it's coming fast. So
exactly. September, like Labor Day was yesterday, it feels like, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So my goal is to make sure that you net as much money in your pocket to make sure you're happy and you move on to that next step. And with that, I do believe that offering that co-broke could be a greater chance to you. Now, again, I'll show this all to you with our net sheet calculator. And if the numbers make sense based off of what you get at the end of the day with that co-broke, is there anything else that's stopping you from signing with me today?
No, let's dig into the numbers.
All right. Sounds good.
Great job, Ash. Great job. Great job. Any feedback for Ashley on that one? So Ashley, I think you totally killed it. I think you hit all the right points. The one thing I would just say is your tonality and pace is maybe just you're speaking a little fast.
Yeah. Yep.
But that's okay because you're doing you're saying all the right things, which is great. So you're halfway there. And you're more than halfway there. You're like 90% there. I would just try to slow it down. And when you're asking questions, sometimes you want to add a little, hey, like really pique the curiosity.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what would it look like if we were here until winter? Right? As opposed to what does it look like if you're here till winter? Right? They sound two different things. So that would be the only thing, but I think you're right on spot. Definitely good job. Good job.
Thanks.
Jerome, what you got?
I had feedback for Ashley, but I didn't want to hurt anybody's feelings or anything. So I had to wait to see how this works.
Well, real quick,
I'm going for honesty.
Great. Just kind of like a rule of feedback and just critiquing that. I don't know if you've ever heard the sandwich method, just for everybody in all of life. So you start with something positive, then give some critical feedback, and then end with something positive.
Yeah,
So
I don't really know how to do that. So my
I'm fine with
feedback,
brutal honesty. Give it to
yeah,
me.
my feedback is I do think you did an excellent job. That's why I didn't have much to say. I just similar to what Pete is saying, the tonality is too high and you're speaking a little bit too fast. I didn't want to discourage you because if that's what's working for you, that's what's working for you. But I think when we come off like as friendly like that, they don't trust us as much. So there's a fine line between like friendly, they don't trust us. They want more authority than they want friendliness. And I would like to see that communicated with your tone. But you
Thank
did do
you.
an excellent job handling all the objections. It just the tone is like high. I would bring it down and I would slow down a little bit. That's all.
Thank you.
That was my
Those are
feedback.
those
I
are
think you
things
did.
I've
Yeah.
always struggled with speed specifically. So appreciate that.
see, and you just did the sandwich method. You didn't even know it, Jerome. See, look at you.
Thank you.
All right, cool. So let's role play that. Who else wants to take that one? So seller's concerned about commission. You know, again, I'm not going to keep going through the scenario, but you know, I'm just not sure I want to pay a full commission when other agents are offering to list my home for less.
What's the objection again, Pete?
I'm just not sure I want to pay a full commission when other agents are, you know, offering to list my home for less.
Okay. So is that the only thing holding you back from getting started today, Pete? The commission?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Jerome, I like everything you have to say. I mean, it seems like it makes sense to me. I think it's just, yeah, if we can just get this figured out, you know, I think we could probably move forward.
Okay, well, I'm gonna tell you this, Pete. This is the price that's where this is the fee. This is the price that's required to get the property sold. However, I'm willing to be flexible when you say that price, Pete. What do you have in mind? When you're saying you're not willing to pay the commission, what do you have in mind? What are you thinking about?
I mean, I've seen signs for like, you know, 3% commissions, and like I've seen people, this guy over in town advertising like 3% to list my home and that kind of
Okay.
thing.
And you don't like my fee of what? You don't like the 4%?
No, I mean, I don't know. I mean, it just feels a little high if I could go get it for 3.
It's a little high. If I go at 4 and you go for 3, all right. How about this? You want 3% is what you're saying?
Well, yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. So I'm not sure I want to pay like the full
Okay.
commission.
And I'm at 4. How about this? How about I come down a little? I can do 3.9. How does that sound for you, Pete?
Yeah, I mean, I guess 3.9 could work. I mean, can you do 3?
I'm at let's do 3.9 and let's get the process started. How does that sound for you?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think maybe we might want to meet with the other agent. I mean, can you do 3.5?
3.5, coming down from 4%.
Yeah.
I really don't want commission to be the reason we don't work together, Pete. Um, let's do the 3.9.
All right. You know what? That's cool. All right, let's do 3.9. We don't want to go through all this trouble. Let's just get this thing sold.
Okay. All right.
All right. Cool. Any feedback for Jerome, guys?
Can I give some feedback?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, no, not unless you turn your camera on, Marilyn.
Hold
Okay,
on.
Go ahead.
Camera's on.
Hold on. Because I was
Act
nervous.
up, act up when when Dave's not here. There's so many
I
cameras
know.
off.
Well, Dave's camera's not even on, so how am I gonna
That's an exception.
How do I hold on? Okay, here we go.
Hey, good morning.
Good morning, everybody. All right. So for me, I think that he was too fast to come down on that percentage on that commission. I mean, I don't know if that's exactly how you do it. It's Jerome, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah, Jerome. So basically, I mean, I think the best way to do it and to overcome that, I mean, the way that I think works for me is always kind of like, what's important for you. Okay, you did isolate it. You isolated, which was great. However, you could go to list price to sold price ratio. go to that and say, do you understand what that is? And talk about, what the difference is, how much more you sell homes for in comparison to maybe these other agents or the average in that market specifically.
Okay.
And then from there, it would make sense for them because they would say, okay, if you can get me 3% more and this person is only charging me 3%, I mean, that makes sense, right?
Yes,
So,
I'll receive
talking
that.
about price to sold price ratio, I think is one good way to split.
Okay, thank you. Can you show me? Can you be up next and show me how to do it?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah, and just real quick, I actually just wanted to jump in. Something that, it takes a little bit of gusto, I guess you would say, but I think, a real quick, like I try to always think like, how can we make this as simple and one-liner as possible? Because if we can get that message across as quickly and easily as possible, it's going to help not only us remember it, but it's also going to make it easier for them to digest it. So when they say, well, listen, I've got someone else, I seen signs for 3% to sell my home. Well, no problem. Actually, my fee is 3%. What we really have to figure out is how much are we going to pay to the buyer side to bring in a quality agent. Like that's just a quick one-liner. Like, hey, yeah, my fee is actually 3%. We just have to figure out how much it is to the other side that we're going to pay. Right. And then you're kind of taking if you want to stick there. But all right. So Marilyn, you want to take this one? Let's all right. So again, scenario, seller moving to Florida. We've got all that stuff figured out. Listen, Marilyn, I appreciate you coming out. I think everything you're saying makes a lot of sense. I'm just not sure I want to pay a full commission when I'm seeing other agents offering to list homes for less.
Right. What's more important to you? Is it commission or what the result is to what the results you get? Sorry, I haven't done this in a while.
Yeah. No, that's all right. Yeah.
So like a good month.
Yeah, no. So for us, we want to make sure that we're netting the most money.
Right. So let me ask you this. Do you understand how list price to sold price ratio works?
Not exactly. I guess, no, not really. Can you maybe just tell me?
Sure. So in this market specifically, homes are selling for about 2% more. That means the average agent is actually selling homes in this area for 2% more. But if you look at my sold price list price ratio, I'm selling homes for 8.49% more than the average agent in this market. So how would that work for you? Like if you can get at least 5, 6, 7% more than that person who's charging you 3%. That could mean an extra $50, $60, $70, $80,000 in your pocket.
Right. Okay, I see what you're saying. All right, so you think with listing more, then we could get more for our money, or we could get more for our house.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
So you think if we paid the full commission, we could get more for your house, for my house?
Absolutely. I think that with my fee and how much more I sell homes for in this market, you're definitely going to have a win-win scenario.
All right, cool.
All right. So are we ready to go?
We're ready to go.
Great.
Ready to go. All right, who wants to be a seller?
I can be a seller.
All right, Alberto. All right, so give me that objection that you're thinking about selling it. I'm sorry. You're ready to go. All sounds good. Just want to cut the commission.
I'm the seller?
Yeah, you're the seller.
Yeah, and you want me to cut the commission?
No, you want me to cut the commission.
Oh, I want you to get the commission. Listen, Pete, I like what you say, but I know with this situation, this National Association of Realtors get an agreement and it's gonna pay $458 million, and now I don't have to pay the commission to the buyer's agent. So, man, I can offer you 3% and you do your job. I mean, it's up to you how you can divide your commission or whatever you want to do.
Gotcha. Okay, fair enough. So let me ask you, so just so I understand, your concern is that you don't want to pay out, a full commission on this. Do I have that right?
Yeah, I can get more money in my pocket,
Great. Okay, so right. So the idea is by paying less, we can actually net more. So let me ask you though, before we even get into this, Alberto, is there any reason that you wouldn't list your home with me tonight aside from commission? Is that the only thing that's stopping us from getting to work together today?
Nope, that'd be all. I mean, because I like the way you do your presentation, I mean, according with the statistic that you present to me, and I think we agree on the price, but the commission is the only issue. If I had to say 3% in 3% in commission, it's gonna be more money in my pocket. I can do some renovation in the new house that I'm gonna get down there in Florida.
Absolutely. And listen, Alberto, my goal is for you to not leave a single penny on the table. Before we get into this, though, let me just ask you, I mean, are you familiar with how commission works in real estate world?
Well, I think I offered you X amount of money or it's a percentage according with the price, and you divide the commission with the other people. I don't know. It's up to you.
Correct. So, and that's about right. But I'd like to go through how realtors get paid. So can you just hang with me for 1 minute here?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's say this dollar bill represents, the 6% commission that we work for, right? So out of that 6%, we know right off the bat, we want to make sure that we're bringing in qualified buyers agents, right? We want to make sure we're working with the best of the best because we know the best of the best agents have the best of the best buyers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And we know that the best of the best buyers understand that it's not just about price, it's about terms as well. So we want to make sure we're getting you a great price as well as great terms. Wouldn't you agree?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So that's right out the window. We know we got to pay that because we want a quality buyer. Now, this is what we have remaining and what we have to work with. Now, listen, just so you understand, as real estate agents, we're independent contractors. So we don't get paid hourly. We don't get paid salary, benefits, health insurance, retirement, all that stuff. We're basically small businesses. And I'm not crying about it. I love what I do, but this is why it's relevant. So out of this commission that's left that we have to take on our end and work with, we know that we already sent that part out. Then we've got to pay our brokerage, right? So we've got to pay, Keller Williams, they take their piece. Then we know that we got to pay Uncle Sam, right? Obviously, nobody loves paying taxes, but we got to pay taxes. Then we have what's really my non-negotiable, like I just mentioned, my health insurance, my mortgage payment, all the things that I have to need to survive and live, right? We're in business, we have to make some money. So do you know what's left here?
The
This
parts are gonna take you put in your pocket.
this is what we have to market your home with.
Oh,
Now, you would agree that the best marketing and the more people that know your home is for sale will ultimately net you the most money, right? You would agree with that?
yeah. Mhm.
So if we know we have to pay all these other fees and we don't have a choice, do you see how actually paying less commission could hurt your bottom line at the end of the day by not being able to market it to the most amount of people?
Yeah, you are right. You're right, Pete.
So with that
So
being said, let's get to work today. We'll get your house on the market and we'll start getting you to Florida. So that way we're not wasting any more time. Is that fair enough?
that's fair enough.
All right, perfect. So that's one way you can go with it. You might still have some more pushback on it, but those two things, one, isolating, is there anything aside from commission that would stop you from working with me today? And then really taking the time to explain to the consumer, because we have to remember the consumer sees 20, 30, 40, $50,000. Dude, what is this guy doing? But when you break it down into that, it really, and honestly, every agent should be doing that for themselves too, because when you're taking a listing, unless your goal is just to do units, when you're taking listings, if you actually break those numbers down after taxes, splits, expenses to market the home, what your regular business expenses are, that big $10,000, $15,000 check that you get delivered, when you really break it down, not so big. Any thoughts, feedback, Jerome? I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, my feedback is I love how y'all handle like explaining the situation and the commission, but I think that typically happens during the listing presentation. And that's why I don't go into that much detail because I've already handled it and they're actually stuck on that particular part. And I just keep it short. I don't need to necessarily go into all of that detail. That's my philosophy. That's what I'm generally dealing with. And I generally deal with expireds. I'm not saying that it doesn't overlap with FISBO, but that's why my explanations are not that long because I should have handled that during the listing presentation.
Yeah. I mean, it's possible. It's possible. I mean, I think, oh wait, did I? Oh no, you're still there. I mean, that's certainly one way to look at it. Listen, I'm not here to tell you that I know, the right way to do it for everybody. I can tell you that generally I almost, more often than not, I'm getting top commissions, and it has worked.
No, I
Alberto, what
agree.
you got? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
Agreeing. Yeah.
yeah, and also according with the National Association of Realtors, buyers work with agents, and 95% of them work with agents, and you need to motivate them if you want to get the top money for your property. Am I correct, Mr. Seller?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, no, that makes sense.
So if you don't motivate the other side of the transaction, you're not gonna get the money you are looking for, because only just 5% or 10% of buyers are gonna come directly to you, and it's not gonna happen in that way. It's gonna hurt you at the end of the day.
The one thing I do, Alberto, the only thing I would say is like I always like to kind of throw in like, listen, it's possible that, by paying a lower commission, you could have somebody come in and give you like this incredible offer. However, we know that if the most people see your home and we're offering, like, you know what I mean? I like to really kind of be like, because I don't want to disagree and I don't want to say, this is me. I don't want to say anything as like 100% fact. Because then you get somebody saying, well, yeah, but my buddy down the street sold his house and he didn't do it and he got a great, and it's like, yeah, listen, but do we want to play the luck game or do we want to play the odds, right? Or do we want to pay, I don't know, maybe you could say that better, but do you want to pay, like, we can play the game. I would like to, like, what's most likely to happen? So that's where I kind of just would say that's for me personally. I try to stay away from like, this is definitely going to affect you negatively, because then they can just throw up like, well, my friend did it that way and it worked for them. Then you kind of, now you're back to square one.
Got it.
So, all right. So let's see. Is Al still on the call? He asked about decoupling commissions, but I don't see him on the call now. So, okay. All right. Here, this is a good one now. Sean. Okay. All right, so you're sitting down with the seller, you've gone over, you're good on pricing, commission, you're ready to get everything, going. Then they hit you with, listen, I think, I might just want to wait a little bit longer. I mean, I see interest rates are coming down. I'm hearing prices are going to go back up. So we're thinking maybe we just hold off for a few more months. Let's hear from someone we haven't heard from yet. Hey, Matt, what's up, brother? Was waiting for that hand to come up.
It's good, brother. Hey, we equal opportunity script practice call. So
all right, so listen, it sounds good. I just, with rates coming down, I think we could probably get more money for it, and if we waited like 3 or 4 months.
okay, what's so the rate is the only thing that is making you considering to wait?
Well, yeah, the rates, and just, hoping that, or just, we're hearing that when rates come down, home values are going to go up.
Yeah. That's a pretty good perspective. Let me ask you, do you have anybody that you talk to about rates or anything like that? Economic trending?
With just kind of general conversation, not really anything too specific. I mean, we spoke to the mortgage lender when we were buying the house, down in Florida, but I guess that was pretty much it.
Okay. So if you had some information regarding like what market trending is kind of looking like in regards to interest rates, would that help you make a more informed decision?
Yeah, I mean, I guess that, yeah, I mean, that would help. I mean, but do you think that like it's worth it to wait? Do you think if rates come down that we could get more for it?
Wow. Well, Pete, I mean, I think I think the condition of your home, the current market conditions in the seller's market, you're gonna sell the property regardless. I think if the interest rates are something you want them to come down, typically, yes, you're right. You're gonna generate a lot more traction when you have, buying power is more affordable, right? So, however, recently the Fed just dropped the rate 50 basis points, and everybody thinks that, oh my gosh, we're gonna lose, our interest rates are gonna go down. When in actuality, it was more so of a correction. For 3 days, it did get a bit lower, but just of recently, rates actually went higher than before the basis point correction. So if you're looking to, I don't know what other realtor is going to give you that insight, but if you're looking to maximize your efficiency in profiting from the property, I would want to get started sooner rather than later, given the timing of everything right now. We're about to enter October, which means we're almost into December. And that puts us post-election, which has an impact on what we want to do.
Hmm.
Does all of this help you?
Yeah, I mean, I think I understand what you're saying. So you kind of think we should move on it now.
Yeah, I think the right move now for you, if it makes sense, would be to get the ball rolling, right? And because it's going to take time for things to get happen, I have to get acclimated to your timeline. If we can get all that stuff situated and still take a look at keep our eye on the market at the same time, that'll help us execute at what we believe is the right time.
Okay.
Does that
Yeah,
sound like something you would want to do?
yeah, that makes sense. We could
Okay,
do that.
great.
All right.
And then we'd sign.
And then, all right. What do you guys think? Any feedback? Oh, Jerome, I see you got your hand up.
Yeah, Matt, I always think you do a great job. I would just try to avoid as many details as you do. And another thing I want to give you is I like to ask assumptive questions, not do you. So the example was, do you have anybody to talk to? He could easily say no. I would say, who do you talk to about like interest, whatever the question was, who do you talk to about interest rates and how things work? And that gets them more talking because they can't default to a no answer. So I think if you start to ask like assumptive questions where they have to answer, it will be better for you. That's it. But you did an excellent job breaking it down.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, I definitely think you showed that like the experience in the market knowledge. I agree. Maybe just if you can tighten that up a little bit because it could get a little confusing for somebody. But no, I think it's a great job, and you show yourself as a someone who's really following. Like I think that tidbit, like about hey, just so you know, like the Fed announced the rates, and rates actually went up a little bit. So it's like we never really know. Like, listen, I can't promise you that you won't get more, but how much more money would you have to get for this to be worth it? Right. And then you'd also have to talk about the risks. Like we don't know. What if rates went up? What if something changed? Oh, by the way, what about your carrying costs that you have for this home that you said you wanted to offload? So those are all things that I think we can go. Curtis, what's up, man?
Oh, that's exactly what I was going to ask. Would it be appropriate to say, well, what if, right? What if the rates go up, and what if, and you just mentioned that, Pete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
bro. Talk
So
about money, man. And people want to talk about money. If you're not comfortable talking about money, get comfortable talking about money. This is, that's how I look at it. These are people's equity, 500, 600, 700, 800 million dollars worth of equity. So it's really, 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 really important to them. My whole approach is, and I appreciate everyone's feedback. Thank you so much. Lay all the facts out. Let them make the decision. Ask what and how based questions. So it's Socratic and open ended. So they have to give you a response and then leave it up to them. And then, but as long as like, obviously that's why we script practice so that you're positioning your question in a manner that's leading them to the result in which you want.
yeah. Yeah. Jerome, just one second. I'm going to shoot over. Curtis, let's role play this a little bit, right? So, all right. So listen, Curtis, I really like what you're saying. I think we're good to work together. My only thing is, with rates coming down, I'm hearing that they could come down, and when they do, home values go up. So I kind of feel like maybe we should wait like a few months and kind of see what happens. Like, what do you think?
No, no, yeah, completely, Pete. And what you're saying makes sense. My only concern for that is if what happens if the dynamic changes and uh, borrowing power is constrained in a way due to the interest rates actually going up. So that's my only concern, Pete. So, and how would you feel if the interest rates went up and we potentially were not able to net as much as we possibly could if we were to act sooner than later?
Yeah, no, we definitely want to get everything we can out of this house.
Yeah, exactly, Pete. And so, yeah, that's where I end. That's where I'm at a
Yeah,
pause.
no. So how could we, I think, what's another way we could ask that same question? So what if we just said, well, what if interest rates go up,
Yeah, what if interest rates go up?
right? Just because we're on script practice doesn't mean we
Right,
need to have all these words that,
right.
sometimes it's as simple as like, yeah, no, listen, I totally get that. And what if they went up? And then you see them say,
Yeah, Pete, what if the interest rates went up?
yeah, I mean, well, I mean, do you think they're going to go up?
They could, Pete, and no one really knows, right? So I guess, that's really the concern that I would have for you. So, and how would you feel about that, Pete, if they actually went up?
Yeah, no, I don't think if it meant we were going to lose money. Yeah, I don't think that would feel too good.
Yeah, exactly, Pete.
Yeah.
And
So Curtis, I mean, listen, I mean, I understand what you're saying, and if rates came down, but what if rates went up? I'm flipping
uh,
this around.
right. Well, if rates went up, it'll make it harder for your buyer to actually qualify for the property, which would mean that the prices potentially could come down, and you may net less than you could if we were to act, sooner than later.
Perfect. That's perfect. Nice and concise. I love it. All right. Anybody else want to take this one?
Yes,
Alberto.
yes. Pete, I know you are expecting that the interest rate goes down. We don't have the crystal ball.
Mm,
But if the price goes up again, I mean the interest rate goes up, less buyers are gonna be in the market, and your property is gonna be sitting in the market for a long period of time. You are gonna miss the opportunity to do the one you think to do right now. You wanna go to Florida or wherever you wanna go. You understand what I mean?
yeah. Yeah. That would not be good. We're definitely ready to go.
So let's do the right thing, sign here and pray hard.
There you go. Love it. Who can use the feel, felt, found for this?
I got you.
Diego.
Hey, Pete, thank you so much. I really appreciate you letting me know that's one of your main concerns. And look, I totally understand how you feel. And I've had other sellers that have felt the same, actually, in a different market. And once they met with me and we really dug deep in the numbers and what's truly important to them, right? Market aside, that's something that we can't control. Nobody can control that, right? So let's control what we can control. And what's the next step for you and for your family? So after they met with me, they really felt that it was time to list because waiting 3 months could net them more money. But are you really going to gamble on that could when you are ready to go to Florida right now and get your family to that warmer weather?
Yeah, I mean, listen, winter's coming fast, man, and if I don't have to shovel snow, that would be good. I mean, so you don't think like you think that it might not go up that much, or like you don't think it's, I mean, if I could get like 30, 40, $50,000 more if I wait, I mean, I'll wait.
Yeah, look, like I said, I totally understand how you feel, Pete, and I get it. Look, many people have felt the same as you are feeling right now, right? Then after they sold, right, they actually found out that they netted more money because guess what? Interest rates went up instead of coming down, right? So nobody really knows, Pete.
All right, fair enough.
I I'll do another one the one that I was actually thinking, the objection handling for this. So Pete, look, you know what concerns me about that, Pete?
What's that?
Yeah, about waiting to see if interest rates come down and you could potentially make more money. Number one, we don't know whether they're going to come down at all or how much, right? And number two, most sellers that I speak with are also waiting for that interest rate to calm down, right? So, what do you think is going to happen if it does come down a significant amount? Do you think we're still going to have no inventory?
Well, yeah, I guess if a lot of sellers are waiting to put their house on the market, I guess that could have a lot of more agents putting their house on the market, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, that potentially that could happen. And how do you think that's going to impact the sale of your house?
Yeah, I mean, and there's more houses on the market, so I don't know, I guess it could not sell.
Yeah, I mean, look, it'll sell. You will probably lose money on the sale because look, the reality is it's all about supply and demand, right?
Hmm. Yeah.
So, the more supply, obviously, if there's, less demand, then how does that impact your house?
Yeah, I mean, I guess not good.
Yeah. So Pete, look, let's do this. We don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. Heck, we don't even know what's going to happen in the next 30 seconds, right? What we do know is what's happening right now. We still have low inventory. Houses are still selling for over asking. So let's do this. Put me to work, sign right here. As soon as I leave the door, I'm calling my photographer, stager, and my cleaner.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. Sounds good. Good job, Diego. I think you did a good job focusing on motivation, painting scenarios that could be, detrimental to the sale. So, nice work on that. I see we got some hands raised and we got about 4 minutes left. So, Matt, shoot.
Diego, you're a gangster, bro. You're the man. Good tone, good delivery, bro. I'm gonna throw an oddball curveball scenario out. We always talk about commission. We always talk about days on market. We always talk about interest rates. I am a seller. I would like to sell my home, but I do not want to have an open house. How are you
Okay,
going to handle that?
problem.
To
Okay, great.
go.
Go ahead, Jerome.
My feedback is that we should be careful about talking more than the prospect. One of the things I noticed when Pete is the seller, like he's sitting there waiting for us to finish. And in real life, that community, like people get overwhelmed. So be careful not to talk more than the prospect. That's my feedback for all of us.
Thank you.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. So, all right. So, Matt, we've got a scenario. Seller wants you to list
Yeah,
the
I'm
house.
selling the house. I'm selling a house, but I don't want open houses, and you can't show it on Sundays.
All right, Matt. So let me ask you. I'm just curious. I mean, what is it about open houses that you'd really prefer to not have one?
Well, I mean, I spend a lot of time taking care of my home, and, and I understand the market, and there's a lot of people walking around the house, and I don't feel very comfortable having this many people in my home.
Gotcha. And when you say this many people, do you mean like this many people at one time, or just like that many of people overall?
Yeah, I mean, like, at one time, you have an open house and everybody's going to be parking. My parking is very kind of limited on the street, and I don't want my neighbors complaining.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes sense. And listen, Matt, first of all, you don't have to have an open house. But if you knew that having an open house would help this home sell quicker, get you better terms and potentially more money, would you be open to the idea of having an open house?
I mean, I just we're just not like we're not very like outgoing people. We like to stay to ourselves. Like it's like we're not. I don't really feel comfortable around people, and just knowing that like I'm not going to be here, and there's going to be a bunch of people walking around my house. I don't know if someone's going to take something. I spend a lot of time taking care of my home. What can you? I mean, is there a way that we can sell the property without having to do an open house?
Yeah, absolutely, Matt. We can absolutely sell your property without doing an open house. That's not a problem. That being said, we will still have people coming through your home, and we will still have some of those concerns may still exist, right? So I just want to be upfront and honest that we can control as much as we can control, and there are some things that we can't control. So with that being said, I always do recommend like any jewelry, anything like that, make sure anything expensive, medications, that stuff we put away. Secondly, if you wanted to have a camera in the house or something like that, you're certainly welcome to do that. I would just say that, again, you don't have to do an open house. What might end up happening, though, is if we don't do an open house, we may actually end up spending some more time on the market, right? Because it'll take a little bit longer for some of those buyers to come into the house and to actually get you the money that you want. So where one of the benefits of doing an open house is we kind of almost rip the Band-Aid off, right? And when we're doing it, we do it in a very planned and strategic way where we make sure that there's only one couple or maybe two couples in the house at a time. We can make sure that there's an agent walking them around the house the entire time. And frankly, they have to sign in before they even enter the house. Is that something that would, help kind of ease your concerns, or should we just move on from open houses altogether?
Wait, so you said you'll have more than one agent there?
Correct. So I usually have myself and at least my mortgage lender with me. In a house of this size where, it does make sense to have more than maybe one or two people, we could have a third agent here to just walk them around and make sure that they're, behaving and acting right. One thing I'll tell you, Matt, I have no issues telling people people to get out of the house if they're not going to act right.
Okay. That's good. So I mean, what is there a difference? Like, what happens if we don't have an open house? You're just
Yeah,
saying
like I
that just
said,
we're just going to spend more time on the market?
I think that's just one of your risks is, yeah, you just might spend a little more time on the market. It might just take a little bit longer to get an offer that you're comfortable with. You see, the way today's market goes, it moves very fast. So a lot of buyers in the market are trained that this is going to be how it's going to go, right? House is going to hit the market on, say, maybe Tuesday, Wednesday. We always list on Tuesdays. We do the first showings on Friday, and we explained how showings work, right? And then the open house is over the weekend. By like Tuesday, Wednesday, we're all asking for best and final because we've just blown this out of the water. We've had a ton of people through it. It's, like I said, ripping the Band-Aid off. At the end of the day, if you don't want to do it, that's fine. However, it just might take a little bit more of a slow drip. We might be looking at 2 or 3 weeks on the market without accepting an offer, as opposed to maybe, accepting an offer within 7 days of getting on the market. And whichever you'd prefer to do is fine.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I have to talk to my wife about it.
Fair enough. All right, so I'm going to wrap this up though, just because we're at 9:31. I think too, it's like, don't lose the listing over doing an open house. Like we maybe talk
Right.
too much about it, and maybe I shouldn't have even like gone down that road as much. But
Yeah.
I
just wanted to see what you would say because we talk about commission all the time. We talk about all these common objectives, and sometimes there's a lot of other objectives, objections that you have to overcome that you don't really handle very often, but are actually you handle more often than you think, and they're just quite silly. So I was curious to see what people would say.
I think from a theory perspective that, or like whatever, there's nothing wrong with being like, all right, like no worries, like let's just get this thing signed and keep rolling. However, I do think that you're doing a disservice to the seller if you don't explain the benefits of an open house.
Yes.
But definitely doing it in a non-pushy way. And just so if they're on the market for 2 or 3 weeks, they're not surprised because you set that expectation up front. All right, real quick, Jerome, I see you got your hand up. And then we'll go to Diego, and then we're out of here.
Quick, I was just going to say, I'd be like, Matt, that's perfectly fine. We don't have to do an open house. We'll revisit this when I come back in the future. Let's get this signed and go from there. Then I would go into those details of what you did, Pete. I would get it signed. That's okay. We don't even have to do that. But I'm going to revisit this when I come back, Matt, and tell you the benefits of an open house. Then I would handle it from there.
Yeah, I think that's a good way to do it for sure. Because you don't want to talk yourself out of a listing by going on too much about open houses. Diego.
Yeah. Yeah, everything Jerome said is exactly what I was going to say. No, just kidding. No, but everything Jerome said, and hey, just out of curiosity, would you rather show your house to 100 people in 2 hours or show your house to 100 people in 2 weeks?
Great way to say it. That's a very simple way to just kind of break that down. So, all right, guys, it's important we start on time, important we end on time. So we're a little bit over today. I apologize for that. Thank you so much for all the participation. I'm no D-Rad, but I did my best impression. Follow me at The Real Estate Pete on Instagram. And if you want that pricing pyramid, I'll send that over to you guys. Thanks so much.